I'd like to welcome Carl Lee, a designer, and he's going to talk to us about what he does. But before we do that, let's see some of his work. Wow, that looks fantastic. I'm really excited about all of that. So, Carl, tell us a bit about what we've just seen, please.
Okay, so hello. What you've just seen is an amalgam of all the kind of things that I do or have done in the last 20 or so years. And that is, I'm a graphic designer. So that means I design things to look good, mostly print or but also magazines and digital websites. But I also have a strong passion in motorcycles. So I've been involved with motorcycles for the last 20 or so years, 25 years. So I've designed a lot of motorcycle magazines, but I'm also an illustrator and a visualizer. So I create motorcycle concepts, if you like, of what certain motorbikes could look like.
So a visualizer, I've never heard the term visualizer. So talk us through what that actually means.
Okay, so a visualizer is someone who can take an idea out of your head and create it on a screen or a bit of paper so that you can then show it to other people, or so you can see it yourself for real. So if you wanted to see what a particular motorbike look like, or if you had a golf club you wanted to invent, I could help you. I could help show you what that golf club could look like.
Wow, that sounds impressive. And I noticed that there were quite a lot of magazines. So you've worked in the industry for a while, clearly. Do you have your own company? What's your current situation?
Okay, I've had my own business for about 13 years now, so it's getting on a long time. But before that, I was working for a big magazine company in Peterborough, and I managed to pick up quite a lot of experience in the time that I was there, which I can now put into my own business.
And are you a sole trader? Do you have people who work with you, or do you work on your own?
I mostly work on my own. However, I do commission other people to help me do stuff. So if I need a photographer, for instance, to do a special sort of photo shoot on a motorcycle, I'll hire a photographer. If I need someone to photograph some food, I can hire a special sort of food photographer as well. And if I need someone to do a video, there are other people that I also hire and call in. So there's a range of people that I can call on to help me finish and work on projects.
So in previous interviews, I think other guests have used the word networking, and it seems to me that it's very important, if you have your own business, to be able to pull on other specialists and bring them in to do commission work, and presumably they would do the same thing with you. So there's a level of reciprocity between that happening.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Networking is so important to small businesses like myself nowadays, but as well as the real life networking where you go and sit in a room and meet lots of people, face to face. You can also network online and Zoom calls, as we've seen, but also you can network just via social media. You can build up a network of people on social media. I've got quite a big, strong Facebook and Instagram account with lots of followers, but I also sort of work with other people that I've met and clients that I've met on social media as well.
That's really interesting, especially because I suspect people watching this video will be quite used to using social media extensively. But it sounds to me as if that's a way of you getting business, that's really important.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so important. In the old days, as a graphic designer in the old days, trying to get a job in a design studio, you'd be carrying a massive portfolio around with you, and from studio to studio, and just trying to get your work shown to the people who could potentially give you a job. Nowadays, you don't need to do that. You can just create a website or create an online portfolio of your own, just upload all your work, your best work online, and just share your work with prospective employers that way.
That's a really interesting point, because I work with a lot of young people, and many of them follow those instructions. The bit that's different, the bit I'm interested in is that surely you don't want to see 1,000 images or 10,000 images. So I think probably for me, the bit that I hope that young people consider is how you edit, how you choose your best work. I think that some young people I work with thought I must be very old because I talked about taking images using film, the 24, 36 exposures. And the fact that that meant that you had to frame something carefully, think about before you push the shutter. Whereas now technology means you can take thousands of photographs. So do you agree that there has to be a level of editing or of choosing or of selecting your best work for that sort of online portfolio?
Absolutely, absolutely true. In the old days, you would, like you say, you'd take a photo, but you'd really consider the shots that you take because, you've only got so many. You've only got so many shots in that film, and now we just rattle them off, don't we? And we never look at them ever again because it's too hard to look at thousands and thousands of images. I'm guilty of it myself, but I guess it's a blessing and a curse that we can shoot so many images now so easily, because but I find that social media is very helpful actually, because instead of uploading absolutely everything, you do choose your best because everyone wants to see your highlights, don't they? And that's there is a bit of fakery going on, but it is a case of we're all time poor nowadays. Yes. So no one has the time to look at hundreds and hundreds of images. So you need to choose the cream of the crop, the best ones, and show your work in the best light. And you need to be brave and bold to make those edits and say, that's not quite good. That's a 9 out of 10, but I want a 10 out of 10. So
it's very good advice. Very good. Can I ask you about, go back maybe when you were at school or college, was there anyone in particular who inspired you to go for a career in design and in art and design?
There wasn't really. Yeah, it's a tough one, that. I don't think there was anyone. I think I've always kind of just enjoyed drawing things, doing art at school, drawing pictures and painting and things like that. So there wasn't any sort of one person in particular that inspired me to get into graphic design.
Tell us a little bit about the route you followed. Did you do O-level or GCSE art and then go on to A-levels or college qualification? What was your route to get to where you got to?
I actually did O-level art, and then after that I tried to get into art college, and at the time I applied for a grant, but I didn't get the grant, so I ended up actually working in a garage, in a car garage for Mercedes for 2 years. So it wasn't what I wanted to do, but it paid me some money. But in the back of my mind, I always knew I wanted to get back into design. So I eventually managed to get into art college. I got my grant, got into art college, found that I really enjoyed it, and I knew then that I wanted to be involved in art or design. So I carried on my studies, and I went down to London, and I took a HND in graphic design in London. And that was great, not just for learning the basics about art and design and typography, but all the other life experiences that went with it as well. Things like sharing a house. When you move out of home and you share a house with other students, learning how to pay your bills, managing your own money, just working out how to get around the city, and just meeting people. And another big part of it was having a part-time job to supplement my studies. So I did a lot of work. I worked a lot on Oxford Street in the retail sector. So I worked in Topshop, I worked in shoe shops, I worked for Littlewoods, I worked in HMV. And that again was that experience of working in a shop was invaluable. It was priceless, because what I did then was I learned how to just speak to people and just communicate with people, and finding out what it was they wanted, and how best to sort of read people. And well, it helped me to read and communicate with people better. And I think they're life skills that you can transfer anywhere.
That's really good, because many young people, I think many of us have had portfolio careers and done more than one thing. And I think that going forwards, young people will also have portfolio careers, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think probably, as another guest said, the idea of working in retail part-time, it means you do get to understand and to talk to people more fully, which is good. Can I ask you, what do you think, if I were to say to you, what's the best thing about what you do, and maybe what are the less good things, what would you say?
Ooh, the best things about what I do at the moment are I love being my own boss. I can decide whether I'm going to take that day off or knock off early or get off a bit late. But I know that my life at the moment revolves around deadlines. There's lots of deadlines for projects that need to be done at a certain time, and I like that sort of structure as well. But being creative is a really good thing I like about my job. It's up to me to sort of continually find that motivation and be creative and have those moments where those ideas come to light, and being able to put those ideas down. I really like building up my social media audience. I find that fascinating and really rewarding as well, because you're basically getting someone's opinion on your work is again, it's one of those things which is really important and really priceless, when they're giving you honest feedback on your work, because that way you can grow. And as long as you don't take that sort of feedback to heart and be offended by it and take it too personally, it's just, you can really learn and grow from it.
And a challenge or a thing that's less good about what you do?
The challenge. Oh, sorry. The other thing I really like about my job is seeing what I've designed come to life. So if I've designed a magazine and then I see it on the shelf in Tesco or WH Smith's, I love that. Or if I've done a design for the side of a van, and then suddenly I see the van go past, I'm there. I'm getting my phone out and I'm going to photograph that van. Even a website, if I've helped build a website and then I go into the website and it's all live and it looks great, and it's really nice. It's really rewarding to see something that I've designed, exist in real life. So really whether it's a business card or a poster or whatever. But
if I were to ask you, for the young people watching this film, what top tip or tips would you offer if you were giving advice to young people who want a career in art and design? What top tips might you offer?
Top tips, I would say, don't be afraid to try out new stuff. Be comfortable being uncomfortable, if you like. So step outside your comfort zone. So instead of sort of staying within your little shell and doing the things and you're comfortable with, try something different and try and learn something new every day, every week. Just, we're only here once. Just try it. If you don't like it, you've learned something. You've learned that you don't like it. Also persevere. If you're after a job, persevere with it. I once gave a job to a photographer who applied for a job for a magazine that I was working on. He wasn't quite right. He wasn't perfect for us at the time. And we couldn't find anyone that was right. But a few months down the line, he was still applying for the job. You know, every month he would apply for the job, and he would show us more of his work. And then one day, the job was open again, and he was the right person at the right time, and so we hired him. Because he was persistent and he showed that he really wanted it. And a lot of the time, it's not what the person can do; it's how that person fits in. Mm-hmm. So if that person fits in and you can see them working with you, great.
That's really good. Thank you so much for talking to us. I'm hoping that Car's going to join us for the panel discussion. And remember that if you follow the link below on the screen now, you can ask a question of either Car or any of the guests featured in this program. But Car, thank you very much indeed today.
Thanks.